Hi, Freedom Family. I am so glad that you're here at underscore Freedom for Life underscore, because we have a conversation today. It's really actually me starting off the new year by giving you this secret, the toughest thing that was stopping me from the success that I was supposed to have in my life. Maybe it'll resonate with you as well. So let's get started, shall we? And as we're getting started, do me a favor and subscribe, become part of the Freedom Family and a part of every conversation that we have. And to become a part of every conversation, hit that notification bell so you know every time that you and I are chatting in that conversation we call underscore Freedom for Life underscore. So, for years in my life when I was striving for success, whether it was getting my black belt or starting a business with my wife or being in ministry and becoming a pastor, whatever the thing was, right? It didn't matter what the goal was. There was always this singular thing, this roadblock that I ran into, this challenge that I was not, I wouldn't say struggling with, but I would continue to see in my own life that would stop me from the success that I'm supposed to. It's actually a word, it starts with P, and the word was the word patience. Maybe it's the same for you in your life, but let me describe mine and see if it resonates with you. I would hear God, or I would believe God has a goal or a dream or a plan for me, and I would immediately jump to it with all that I have, with everything that's inside of me. That's great, right? You're supposed to go towards the thing that God has for you, but the problem is sometimes I'd jump in farther than what God had planned for me to jump in, and I would have to backtrack, fix things, change some things, overcome some issues and challenges because I jumped ahead of the plan of God in my life. See, the challenge with having these big goals and dreams, these visions that God has for us, is that sometimes we move ahead of what God's plan is. At the end of the day, sometimes in my own life, and maybe in yours as well, God would give me a vision for the future, and I would have an expectation for today. And so I would walk it out as if it was happening today, when what God was trying to do was, I'll give you three things. The first is share a vision so you know that there's a future ahead. Sometimes God gives us these, these revelations, these understandings, these conversations, because He wants you to know that there's a destination ahead. There's a future for your life. And just like in the Bible where He talked about, who could you name? Moses saving the people, Esther helping her people out of bondage, or, Gideon saving his people from an enemy, Jesus coming to save the whole world, Peter, the leader of the church, so that it can be going throughout the whole world, Paul giving the gospel in 3/4 of all the books written in the New Testament, right? He tells you the vision for your future, so that you know that there is one, so that you know that there's more than today and moving forward. Well, sometimes I would find myself moving farther ahead than He desired, because He was really just trying to say, hey, there's a future for your life. The second is this. Sometimes He'll give you a vision and understanding for your future, whether it's in relationship or business or ministry or what have you, because He wants to give you something in mind so that you prepare for it, so that you move towards it, so that you build a foundation towards that thing. See, God wants you to own a business or have a college degree that'll allow you to do mission work or business work or what have you. But what He really wants you to do right now is, well, then take the first step towards that. Or going to college, or setting up these plans, or bringing resources and mentors and people around you. Sometimes He's trying to invite you into a foundation because He wants to show you that there's a vision for your future that takes the foundation of today. The third reason He may be talking to you about this big grand vision for your life is this: to let you know that, hey, there's more than where you're at. And in my life, one of those things that it allowed me to see was the things in my life now that I needed to let go of. See, sometimes He's showing you that you're greater than where you're at because He wants to show you the limitations of what you're doing. And in that place, when I can let go of the stuff that's holding me back, I can be open and ready for the things that are going to drive me forward. See, this word patience, when it comes to the walk that God has in our life and the future that He has planned for us, comes down to this. It's really receiving the things God has for us, understanding that there's a plan for your future, and then saying, okay, but what do I do now? Do I pray towards it? Do I work towards it? Do I refine myself in it? Or do I leap forward in the things that You have for me? A lot of times it takes God more time than we think it should to get to where he told us he was going to bring us. The challenge is that it's his timing and not ours. And so for me, patience came down to this, learning that it's in God's timing, not my own. It's not sitting back and being complacent, but it's in saying that when you're ready to bring me there, I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared to be there. That's what patience is. It's one of the biggest factors I've had to learn and continue to relearn in my walk with God and the things I see him playing out in my life. And maybe it's one of the things for you. So in this year, 2024, or whenever you're hearing this, if you are working towards, if you're praying towards, if you're looking towards the vision and that God has for your future, you believe that there's more than where you're at, and you think you understand what it is, practice patience. Practice enough patience to say, what do I do with what I know now so that I can be prepared when you bring me into that thing you've promised for me. You do that and you're going to have an amazing life. Hey, I'm so glad you're here at _Freedom for Life _ Do me a favor. This conversation is an important one for you, maybe in the patience that you need in your life, but maybe for somebody you know as well. Why don't you gently encourage somebody you know to listen to this conversation and see if it doesn't bring about an amazing change and growth in their life. And maybe it will in yours as well. Do me a favor in the comments down below, share with me. I'd love to hear one area where you believe God is calling you forward into amazing things, because there is an amazing life he has planned for you. And at the end of the day, if you do nothing else, dominate your day.